The workshop air cleaner part 2 ended with this scene. I was just starting to work on the switches to turn the blower on and off and to control the speed. Here I'm making an airtight box that the switches will be mounted in. The more flush that this box is, the better that the air seal will be. Okay, enough already. That's gonna be airtight. And it looks like everything's gonna fit okay. I know you've seen me using the stapler a lot while making this homemade air cleaner, and you're probably wondering how long are the staples? Well, they're 1 inch and 1 1/4, depending on what I was stapling into. Now, in order for the switch covers to be nice and tight together, I have to know exactly where to put the switches. I think one of the reasons why this is taking me a lot longer than I thought it would is because there's a lot of piddly little things like this that a person has to do. I had made up a wedge here that I could use to hold up that little box tight up against the inside of the enclosure. And here we go with the staples again. They're way cheaper than screws and a whole lot faster. Now, because this enclosure is going to be so tippy, I want to make sure that I have the casters set as far out into the corners as I can. So that means I'm going to have to trim a little bit of this plywood down here so that the casters don't catch on it when they're swiveling around. I wonder if the surveyor is missing his surveying stake. Hey, could that be why the new road behind our house is crooked? Okay, another silly mistake I made is this piece here was supposed to lap over this piece here. And in my exuberance, when I was cutting everything up, I cut this one too short. Now I've got to make something up that's going to fit in here. And hopefully after it's all sanded down and painted, nobody's going to know. Please don't tell. Now this idea of cutting a strip and gluing it in place wasn't actually mine. Friend was over just a little while ago and we were having coffee and I was showing him this mistake and it was his idea. Yesterday I was all for taking my belt sander and just rounding everything over, but this is going to be a lot better. I think that's going to look pretty good once I get a thick coat of latex paint covering everything up. I had noticed that the belt sander had left little marks and I wanted to take those out. I didn't think they'd show through the paint, but I thought they might. Now if you remember, I used quite a bit of glue when I was gluing that base into place there, and I don't think it was going to leak any air, but I had this silicone so I thought I may as well put it around, just to make sure. Well, okay, I've got my painting outfit on. It's time to paint. And if you look around my workshop, I've painted pretty well everything green. Maybe something different this time. I'm sorry, but I couldn't help myself. I am so pathetic. Maybe I need therapy. Okay, if you look at my painting shirt, you'll see that I actually did once use different colors. Well, there we are. That's it. Now I have to finish up the electrical end of it. And I saved just about all wire, no matter how short the piece is. Well, within reason. This piece here will make a great power cord. It's number 14 gauge. That'll run a half-horse motor no problem. And these scrap pieces of number 14 gauge house wiring, that'll make a good hookup. These bolts are what's going to hold the blower in place. I wanted to make a foam gasket for the blower here. It was a little bit uneven on that face that you see there, and I wanted it to have a really good air seal. I think making that foam gasket was a good idea. I want to drill the holes for the wires as small as possible. Because I didn't use metal boxes, I had to run the ground wire in a rather unusual way, but it'll work. And here again I'm using the silicone sealant, this time every place where a wire went through the box. Well, either air is going to come out of there or the lights are going to go out. That's medium. That's high. Okay, that's low. Do you remember way back at the beginning of this project I said I wanted to make this thing high and have all the air enter on one side? Well, this is why. If I can put it up beside a machine like say this scroll saw that puts a bunch of fine dust into the air and you got your face right down there breathing it in, you can't do anything about it, theoretically it should draw it off to the side and you shouldn't be breathing in any of that sawdust. Well, that's it for the dust collector. And do you remember when I was going through those 1x3s that I got from Rona and one of them was bad on one end? Well, I was able to work it out so that I was able to use pretty well everything except that little end. You know, I gotta go back there for more stuff pretty soon. I wonder if I could get a rebate.